You have your own brain. This brain allows you to think, function, live your life, enjoy your life, be with your family, be present, right? Do whatever you want to do. AI, in order for you to use your artificial brain, you need data centers. Yung brain mo na yun, di mo siya magagamit on your own term. It's like having a brain that's having an open skull with your brain open. Whatever they want to do with your brain, it's up to them.
My name is Kristian Quirapas, and I'm a staff protocol or staff blockchain engineer, and my main work is to create different infrastructures that allow people to own their assets and own their data so that they can have a sovereign digital experience.
In terms of the technology behind AI compared to blockchain, are those two different things?
AI is more on, I'll render my knowledge to you, I'll render my needs to you, and that creates a dependency. Blockchain, being decentralized, being something that not a single entity can control, doesn't promote dependency. It promotes sovereignty.
People are so dependent on AI, they think everything that AI spits out is confirmed as the correct information and validated, where it could be, like you said, manipulated. What do you think will happen in the next 3 years?
In the next 3 years, I believe we're gonna go.
You're absolutely right. People are so focused on other things that are hype. It's always the hype.
Yeah, always that, for sure.
And I know exactly how that turned out during those times last year. Was it a year ago? Where there was a lot of blockchain events happening, conferences, summits, and all that.
Locally, yeah.
Was that last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago, I think.
Yeah. What happened there?
Good question. So in general, I did it the same way that you did. Right? I tried to go out there and meet different people. And when I did go there to talk to different blockchain leaders, go to different blockchain parties and events, I realized most of them don't really care about blockchain and they're there for free food. So it was definitely hype. That's number one. And number two, that's why I stopped that. What I did was I focused more on the technology itself and really dig deep into, okay, what can actually be done with decentralized technology, decentralized protocols, blockchain. Why is it even a block? Why did we sell for a block? What is that importance of that? And then I realized, unlike AI, it's not just hype, actually. Picture this, right? You have your own brain. This brain allows you to think, function, live your life, enjoy your life, be with your family, be present, right? Do whatever you want to do. And that's right for you because that's your freedom. AI, in order for you to use your artificial brain, you need data centers. Like big data centers, big compute, big hardware. What blockchain and decentralized technology showed to me was that there was a centralization of compute, right? So, yung brain mo na yun, di mo siya magagamit on your own terms, right? It's like having a brain that's having an open skull with your brain open, and then whatever they want to do with your brain, it's up to them. Because they own the compute. And if they stop offering you that compute, then you lose your artificial intelligence. You lose your artificial brain. Protocols or decentralized protocols or blockchains, on the other hand, give that power back to you. Sabihin yung compute mo sa'yo. And no one can stop you from using that. Using that compute the way that you want to, using that for your goals, using that for your mission. That's why for me, although the hype is down now, for like blockchain, I'd say a lot of people are still pushing hype, mainly crypto. The underlying technology is much more important now to people than they realize because we're moving towards a world where a lot of the compute, the technology, the hardware are centralized. And it's not good for us because imagine, right? There was, I think, there was a moment where Iran was bombing data centers by AWS, and people were using that compute, right, on their land. And servers that were on those data centers probably went down. Now we're moving towards a future na fragmented na yung mga countries. If people are stacking up of artificial intelligence or their artificial brain and they own most of the compute, then what happens to the Philippines then? So, to me, the notion of a blockchain and a decentralized compute infrastructure is still relevant. It's not hype. And I would say AI is the one that's hype right now.
In terms of the technology behind AI compared to blockchain, are those two different things?
Good question. Fundamentally, they're not, right? They're still compute. They're just parallelized compute. They're, on a technical level, they're both networks. So data go pass through different nodes, and then those nodes compute those outputs, right? But they solve different things, right? AI solves for, I would say, aggregation of information and helping you arrive to whatever you need as fast as possible. So pag nag-chat ka, diba, you're gonna get that information fast. So it solves for that. It's like a second brain that's easy to browse. Blockchain, on the other hand, solves for a different problem. It makes it possible for you to own things on a digital realm. And it's important and it's different because AI is more on, I'll render my knowledge to you, I'll render my needs to you. I won't even think. I'll just let you do the thinking. And that creates a dependency. Blockchain, being decentralized, being something that not a single entity can control, doesn't promote dependency. It promotes sovereignty. That means what you want to do with your assets, what you want to do with your data, that is up to you. So they're both networks, but they solve different problems. One introduces dependency and tries to create a dependency. The other tries to give you sovereignty.
In comparison, it's just apples and bananas. Two different technologies, two different purpose, two different control. But I like what you said. One is you take full ownership, full control, and the other one is just whatever you want it to render, it gives. Now, in terms of the quality of the data that AI is providing and blockchain is processing, wouldn't we say with blockchain, it's really about ownership and having a breadcrumbs of just to find out if the source is validated. But with AI, people are so dependent on AI that they think everything that AI spits out is confirmed as the correct information and validated. Where it could be, like you said, manipulated and provide you with the wrong information. Will there be a time where both these technologies will merge into one or be connected in some sort?
For sure. For sure. So, yeah, for sure. I do think it's a good point that they are apples and bananas. They're meant for different problems in general. It's just that I believe our bandwidth, our limited bandwidth as humans, isn't solving for how to lead in the AI race, because that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to maximize our involvement in AI and rather start asking the real problems, like how can we maintain the compute sovereignty of the Philippines? How can we maintain the sovereignty of the protocols around finance? Right? How can we become more transparent around finance? How can we reindustrialize the Philippines and start doing more exports? Less service based, less dependencies, right? I just, I just believe those are better problems to solve and have our bandwidth and resources put it out into right now, especially now, because life sucks right now. Prices are hella high. Than trying to win in the AI race where majority of the compute is already with other people. That means for us to reach their level, it's going to take a shit ton of resources, and it's a race that has already been won. And because of that, because that race has already been won, I think it's much better to just let it run and then use the best tool that comes out of it than trying to focus all of our effort when we have pressing needs that need solving. I think that clears it up. That's my point. It can definitely interact though and create different systems that would help people. So yeah, apples and bananas. For sure.
For sure. What do you think that needs to happen right now, apart from shifting our focus away from hype? Because, like you said,
Yeah.
we're at war with ourselves as well. Because what happens when the hype goes down for AI, and we're left behind again with still the high cost of fuel, high cost of energy generally, high cost of retail stuff. What do you think the Filipino people should focus on so that we could lead, to a better future?
I've been looking at different histories around how countries in general got richer. And what I found was that it's actually very straightforward. I think it's obvious for people. They just exported more products. Because if you export, of course, countries and different nations will buy from you, and that they'll make your country richer. So the past, I would say, year or more, I've been looking at the landscape and seeing how I can build a physical product, start selling physical products, and start aim for exportation in the Philippines. And I discovered a lot of problems, actually. Number one, right, your question is what needs to happen? Number one, the cost of business and the time it takes for us to start a business locally is very hard. That's number one. Number two, for us to start exporting, we need tools. We need machineries. We need infrastructure. For example, electricity. And those are costly. That means we need budget, right? If we want to jumpstart that, definitely the government will have to jump in and help out to stimulate that industry. And then the third one is education. I realized now, for example, I was studying semiconductors the other day, like I think 5 months back. And sabi ko, kausap ko yung friend ko na galing KAIST. Magaling siya sa mga IC and semiconductors. And then, we were talking. Sabi ko, nasa ba yung iba nating mga semiconductor engineers yan or yung mga IC designers? Where are they? They're a handful. Right? They're the qualified ones to actually make designs, only a handful in the Philippines. So for example, if we're aiming for semiconductor export, who will design? In these times, di ka man pwede mag-import ng player, di ba? You gotta rely. So that tells me that we need to educate. And the third missing variable is really education. Okay, so number two is yung government help. Number three is yung education, and then Number one is export. Right? Do more export.
With Pax Silica coming into the picture, I know it's not Filipino driven. It's just an agreement between one superpower to one dependent nation. Sad to say, that's us. Say it provides jobs, provides opportunities locally, but still, the control of the exports and the profitability of that partnership is not given to us. It's in full control of one big superpower. We're more of a backup nation if you think about it, because we all know that China needs to take over Taiwan, and they're the number one semiconductor producer manufacturer for 90% of the whole supply of the world. And if that gets invaded by China, who's the next best thing in Asia? Of course, they look at the Philippines. We have the skills, we have the talents. Our labor is still cheaper compared to the labor in the US. We speak English fluently. So, no cases in loss in translation. No cases at all. Right? All the manuals, all the SOPs, all the agreements are all in English. But still, we're still dependent on that policy that's going to happen. It doesn't mean that we're going to be the number 2 manufacturer of semiconductors. It just means that somebody aided us with an opportunity that we have no other choice but to grab. Because we have no control to say no. We don't need you to manufacture semiconductors. To me, I believe it's still a good thing, because we can't come up with these opportunities without them proposing it. Say the US didn't say, oh, let's say they never offered Pax Silica. I don't think in a million years we'll be able to get that type of idea where, why don't we produce or manufacture semiconductors? I don't think that's going to ever happen. Okay, there might be some ambitious startup companies there, but I don't think the company will be able, like you said, subsidize the whole project. I love it that you think that semiconductors is one great product to export, but does it have to be a physical product in order to export? Aren't we already exporting services through BPOs? We sort of exported our OFWs. Our OFWs are exported product, but service renders other nations. And in fact, the OFWs is still, even with the rise of VAs, BPOs, and other rendering services, OFWs in general is still the highest money-making entity that the government has produced since the 80s, 70s. It's still people. Because until such time where robotics and robots and humanoids can take over household cleaning or hospitality, it's not going to happen until I'm looking at it 5 years from now. You can buy a humanoid for $10,000 right now in China, 50% cheaper than what Tesla is offering or what other companies offer in the US. 5 years from now, that number can go down to maybe you could afford a humanoid for $3,000, which is still, it gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Then what happens to our service industry? So I agree with you that it has to be a physical product. Let's keep aside semiconductors. Give us 2 more options in what we're capable of producing or manufacturing in the Philippines that you think that we have to export.
Good question. Semiconductor is pretty high tech.
Do we need to go high tech? Can we go down to basics? Is there a product that you've seen that maybe could be a plant, could be certain type of retail.
Yeah, there are two that I think we could definitely export. Machine parts. That's one. For example, while trying to build things myself in physical products, I was browsing marketplace because it's cheaper and looking for different tools and machines. What that taught me was we actually have a lot of machinists, a lot of hand capable people that are now being utilized with machines. And these are really passionate people. How can I say they're passionate? Because they have a lathe, they have a mill, they have machines in their house. And for you to be able to commit to that means you really care about your craft, right? So, yung mga machine parts like metal gears, shafts, or yung mga milled parts, different metal parts, we could do that as an export, definitely, because we have the skills. I do believe we have the skills. Angel does that. You can see a lot of reels where they do exactly that. That's one.
What about resources in machine
Yeah.
parts? What about raw materials? And to create those parts, do we have enough raw materials for that here?
What's good with the Philippines is we have natural resources. What I realized is missing is yung refinement. So the processing. So for example, in semiconductor, we have quote unquote rare earths that are raw in the Philippines, but like nickel. But the issue is, right? Even copper, right? But the issue there is that it's really difficult to refine that natural resources. So most likely we'll have to take that and export that to other people and then take the. So I definitely believe we have the resources, refinement and the processing. I don't think we have that right now.
But you did mention that it's a good thing that you mentioned these types of resources that we have, because if only the government was focused on taking charge of those resources, we'd be richer. And when I mean richer, apart from stealing from us, from the Philippines, from the citizens, they could even be richer exporting resources. Right? So we are rich.
Yep.
Not sure if you've heard about this. Okay, I'll discuss this. There's this one thing that's been going around for the last decade. They call it the black gold, but we'll circle back to that. So we talked about semiconductors. We talked about machine parts. Give us a third one.
Third one is easy. Food. We're an agriculture company. I do believe we have an opportunity to export these food sources as packaged goods and then export them. For example, ube is hype right now. So we can do plays like that, innovate around that, create food processing machines that would be intelligent or AI driven. We could definitely do that. That's one. If I were to, let's say, start exporting physical goods, if I wasn't a tech guy, food is definitely my entry point.
Are you aware that we're the number one exporter of pineapples and bananas?
Nope, but I'm not surprised.
Del Monte and Dole, right? Dole for pineapple, Del Monte, exports of a lot of, I wouldn't say vegetations, but fruits in general, right? So we got, not sure if it's corn, but I know it's pineapple and bananas. Saba. Oh, a third one, I forgot. Coconut. One issue though, it's privatized. So it's only the company that benefits from it. Yes, we export it, and we could exponentially increase that export 100 times, but only those private companies benefit from it. But you know what's good? Because I've seen a documentary by Dole and Del Monte. Because they're great at exporting and producing pineapples and bananas and whatsoever. right? The people around them, they're the ones who are picking the pineapples, the farmers, the workers that's under them. Grabe ang galing. They created a community around the business. So meaning around the farms, for example, a pineapple farm. Everyone involved there is part of a community that was built by the corporation, where they have schools, they have accommodations, they have water resources, food, and everything's built within the community. They're self-sustaining. They don't need to, I wouldn't say import or get resources from other cities or other provinces just to maintain these farmers. Because they have hectares, and they have a lot of farmers and people in agriculture where they need to feed. And they have communities as large as 10,000 people. Full-blown communities. Imagine their children get free education. They get free water. They get discounted goods and food and everything. Just to keep them happy. They give them a really nice, of course their livelihood is the farm and all that, but they give them, what comes with that is a great deal of benefits where, libre na edukasyon ng anak mo, libre na kayo sa mga ayuda, libre na kayo pag may nakasakit dyan, free medical, hindi naman HMO, pero they have their own clinics, micro hospitals where kung someone gets in an accident, they don't need to bring them to the city to treat them. Nandun na. That's what's great about these corporations. They really take good care of their people. You know, there's another one. I'm sure if you've heard of Aboit's, the corporation Aboit's. Here, they have the same. It's an industrial area somewhere up north. Not sure if it's near Pampanga or somewhere, but it's up north. And then it's in an industrial sector. They built their own community as well. But there, it's a little modern. It's a little, kasi yung mga workers doon medyo upper level. They're not farmers. It's an industrial area kasi. Not sure what they're manufacturing in there, but it's really more of factories. But their communities, they have their own restaurants, they have their own fast foods, they have their own, and they're like, why live in Manila where you could live here and work here? And their quarters, na featured ni James Deacon. Na feature niya. He just went there, made a short documentary about And grabe. The Aboit's group, grabe. They take care of their own talaga. Yung bed bunks nila and yung accommodation, ang ganda. Parang, how do I say, 3-star hotel. That's why people are happy there. And it's clean. And they don't need cars. Healthy, walking, bicycle. It's very, refreshing and all that. They said they don't need, a lot of people came from Manila to live there, to work for them. Because libre ata electricity, libre yung food. No, hindi naman libre yung food, pero very cheap yung retail products, grocery and stuff like that. And their families are their free education, schools and all that. Imagine these companies can do pockets of small communities. And we can't do that for our own nation as a whole. Whatever happens if imagine what happens if our government subsidizes the whole nation for that. We'd probably be one of the leading Asian countries, doing something good for us.
Yep.
Right? What if education was free for all? I'm not talking about government lang, public. I'm talking about everyone. Right? If I want to study rocket science, and if we want to beat SpaceX to the moon or Mars, the government should, oh hell yeah, let's do it. First Filipino on Mars. But we can't even export one fruit subsidized by the government. I mean, come on, we have the coconut, right? What's that? Philcoa. What's that? Philippine. What's Philcoa? The Philippine Coconut Authority. The hell, we have a coconut authority, right? What's their sole purpose of these companies? Operating as an independent public corporation, right? Public corporation. Meaning, will produce it, diba? But they'll gain from it. Diba? It says, it is a statute of the Department of Agriculture and focuses on empowering coconut farmers, modernizing production, and driving inclusive economic growth. Yes, economic growth, modernizing production. I doubt it. I would say yes, we are modern if we see the farmers like flying their drones. Oh, coconut's good to harvest. Yeah. Bye, okay na. And then you see one other farmer and he's like programming the tractor like, oh, time to shave off like 3 hectares of this and plant seedlings and all that, right? I wish we were that modern or in the future, right? Now I want to circle back to what I mentioned earlier, right? Have you heard about these black pods? They call them the black gold of the Philippines.
Black pods?
Yeah, black pods.
Nope.
Okay, let me give you a general idea. Think of it like a gold mine in the Philippine Sea. So deep. Very, very, very deep. Malapit sa... Hold on. Let me just do a quick search, okay? It's near the Mariana Trench.
Lalim nga.
Very. But they consider it as black gold.
Interesting.
Yes. And it's literally, they call it pods kasi, you know those documentaries you see, like, they eat pods off the sea? Pero these black pods are like circular in shape kasi. Ganun siya. If you look at the floors, the sea floor, it's like half a ball coming out. And it's just not one. It's a lot of these. Multiply that to like hundreds of thousands. Then you look at the floor and there's like sunod sila. They're trying to shut off the media for this because when one of the research, parang exploration, sea exploration, submarines, and there's this corporation who is known, they have the technology to go deep underwater and start testing. But they get materials, they get samples of the seabed, they test it, they see if it's a new species or anything like that. And when they tested this black pod, they took one, started testing it. Carbon deposit pala siya. It is literally fuel, energy. It's just like gasoline, but shaped into a ball. And if you harvest it, you process it. That is the next big thing after crude oil. Crude oil. That's the next crude oil. Because when you say crude oil, it's unrefined petroleum. You know the black goo, when they say, oh, we have oil and everything, the oil that they suck out of the sea and land and all that, that's not purely, it's just not the thing you put in your car.
Yep.
You refine that and you get like 7 other raw materials out of it. You get diesel, you get gasoline, you get kerosene, you get a lot of stuff, a lot of properties. And that's why countries are rich, like Saudi Arabia, the US, Russia, China, because they have crude oil. And they're selling it to the market. And now, because now ubos na daw, they were looking at these black pods. Same. With one black pod, you could reproduce more than one single barrel of crude oil and more products as well. So there's an abundance of these pods.
Interesting.
Where? Near the Mariana Trench. Where? Philippine Sea. We're not the only nation. That's not our only area of responsibility, but there are other places too. But the Philippines is the most easiest, not to get to, but because wala naman masyadong laws. Well, meron for the coral reefs and that. But the problem is One, we don't have the technology to go down ourselves and extract it. Two, something you mentioned, we don't have refineries. Three, we didn't even discover this. We don't have exploration teams that goes down in subs and see, oh, what's going on here? All we have is someone free diving 50 meters and that's it. Just for the fun, just for the sake of it. But our government lacks not only in sea exploration, but oil exploration in general. We do. But who? Under a private company, Petron. Sila yung nag-oil exploration naman eh. Petron's the only one with a refinery in Pinas. Ramon Ang, head, di ba? And they refine 1.2 million barrels per month, which is, it doesn't, what's 1.2 million barrels per month?
Busagdan.
Ubus yan in a few hours if they sell it. And they're only producing 1.2 barrels or 1.2 to 1.5 barrels per month. And guess what? It's not for us. They export it to sell in the market. Those fuel doesn't come to us.
Interesting.
But like I said, let's go back to the pots. We don't have the technology. We don't have submarines to go. We don't have the will to go explore. We don't have the interest for that.
The will. No will.
Exactly. But there's an abundance of those pods. And imagine if we did all three, we'd be the richest fucking country right now. You know?
We can export them too, no? Yeah.
What comes after exportation? When we exported a lot of these, let's say we mine it, we refine it, we sell it, we export it. What happens next after that?
After exportation,
Yes. What do you think?
dependency.
The world will depend on us. What does that mean? Sign of power. Diba? If we could export that, then reinvest the profit into defense, right? Into our army, into our economy. We were heading to be tiger economy 5-7 years ago.
I remember
without
that.
anything, without anything. What if we had this? We export.
That's true.
We'll be the most powerful nation in Asia.
That'll be cool, for sure. The only thing I have in mind is it gonna end the same way? Is it renewable? That's the question eh. If we harvest that, renewable ba siya? Because if not, then it's gonna end the same way. So
No.
wouldn't it be much more important to focus on renewables today?
I'm on you with that. But maybe it'll run out for another century. Maybe. But true enough, it will end. Supply is going to end. No, true enough. But maybe by a century from now, because right now our consumption of, I'm not talking out of this. I was reading some insights and data and everything. If we have enough, right now our consumption of fuels, all right, is sort of fluctuating in a sense where we're requiring less and less of it. Because of electric cars, because of people of countries adapting to electric vehicles, and even the aviation, they're trying to adapt into electric. Imagine a plane running on electric, like a Boeing 797, whatever model that is, diba? Like 100 tons of aircraft flying in electric. Is that even possible? Thrusters talaga yan, right? But imagine it's all electric, right? Where's the source of electric coming from? Diba? Either burning coal, either burning steam, or creating steam to produce energy or heat and everything. Right? But the issue right now, if you think about it, harvesting the sun, wind, and motion, let's talk Pinas lang. Let's talk Philippines lang. I don't want to talk about other nations. Other nations are like decades advanced over us. But in terms of the global consumption of fuel, they're requiring less and less of it. Okay, we still require like maybe 100 billion barrels per day for the whole world to consume fuel. But it's growing less. Maybe tomorrow it's not 100, it's only 98 million barrels na lang per day. And then it goes down to 50 million. Why? Because we're using more electricity.
That's interesting. Is this recent data?
It is recent data.
Could it be
Because
possible that people are just not traveling more because gas is more expensive?
that's also one idea. It's a different factors also. They're stopping to, like, for example, the time na let's talk about Pinas lang. When the war happened a few months ago, everything went up, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, what the fuck, right? They go out in the streets and they're like, no one's traveling, parang walang traffic. True enough, yeah. But since then, gas prices from 100 pesos per liter is now down to 79. And it's going to go a bit down, but that's going to be our new normal now, right? But I'm talking about the different times, what we're spending for crude oil in 2026 is going to be different of what we're going to use it for in the year, sabihin natin, 2056, 30 years from now. 30 years from now, maybe our products are in orbit na. Maybe we develop or manufactured stuff for products to go in orbit. Maybe 30 years from now, gasoline cars will be like, wow, collector's item. The children of AI, born with AI, AI is going to be like, I have a yaya who's a humanoid. You didn't have one before? Wow, that's weird. Diba? Maybe whatever generation that's going to be, diba? You're going to be like, what? You didn't have humanoids before? What are you, from the Stone Age? But that's going to be their new normal.
Yep. Could be possible.
Right? And everything's going to be running in electric. And maybe these pods will last for another century. But still, it's an easier source of fuel to manufacture because, number one, we have the refineries. We already know the technologies to refine it, right? And it's going to produce more byproducts as well, which is very beneficial. These days, solar panels are not as efficient yet. I'm only talking for Pinas. You buy a solar panel, you put it on your house, everything. It's not as efficient, right? Back in the day, you need like a whole field of solar panels just to power a house. Okay, 2026, that whole field went to, we only need 1/4 of that field now just to power a house, right? Maybe 10 years from now, solar panels are going to be a little more efficient, di ba? Siguro yung ganito na lang solar panel, it could power your house na. Diba? It's going to produce so many megawatts of energy it could produce, and you could store it in something that small. All I'm saying is that 30 years from now, those pods are going to be used for something else. Because everyone's running on electric, everyone's running on the future technology and everything. That alone, maybe don't need it for thrusters in space. Bring rockets. Up to now, nobody has solved gravity yet. Nobody. Not even SpaceX. I don't want to jump into science and all that, but what I'm trying to say is nobody has figured out how to go against gravity without thrusters, without a push, without a force. We're talking about, can you levitate this? Because gravity doesn't. Kumbaga, they need to find out what the anti-gravity equation is for this to go up to space without thrusters needed.
You need superpowers.
Hindi naman superpower. Anti-gravity formula lang naman. One issue with these pods, though, if they start harnessing that, okay, we're back to fuel dependency. If that finishes over a century, diba? We're not around. But guess what they're gonna do? Siguro by that time in a century, bro. Maybe they already figured out to run things even without electricity. Baka with water na lang. Water. Have you heard of the inventor, Philippine inventor?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yung parang ginamit niya tubig for his engine.
And that's real. That's real. I'll tell you why right now. There's this guy who creates content. He's a Russian guy, I believe. He's so into superheroes. He's so into the Iron Man thing. So he built his own Iron Man suit for the past 6 years.
Damn.
The works and everything. How did he power it? Water. He's still testing it right now. He powered it with water. This amount of water now, he did some crazy. There's some crazy thing going on with water. Parang he splits the hydrogen and this, and he gets pure hydrogen, and it powers the suit. Maybe we don't need this in the future. Maybe we just need water. It's there. You go to any, we're surrounded by it, and it's what? Water is like 80% of the world. Everything else is land. But you go everywhere, water is everywhere. You know, going back to these pods, we have a black gold mine happening, waiting to happen. It's just not happening right now with that company, exploration company, because America's against it. Oh, they're not against it. They want full control of it, but the other neighboring countries don't want. So this corporation is quite in. They're sort of. They don't know what to do, because should we listen to the U.S. or should we listen to the UN or should we listen to these? The Russians are threatening us. They were this and that. So it's been on hold for quite a while. More than 10 years now. More than 10 years. There's a whole documentary about it. I'll send you the link. And I just can't believe that it's within reach. Diyan lang siya. It's just a little too deep.
Another problem of technology, no?
I don't think it's technology. I think it's whoever's controlling the government. They're the problem. If we have the money, the technology is out there, we could buy it. Maybe
But
they
if you
just
buy it, you'd have to rely on them then, di ba? Would not produce the same dynamic.
What's worse, doing nothing or doing that?
Doing nothing or doing what?
Buying technology, them controlling, and at least we have part of it, being part of it, taking the initiative to get those pods. Or let's just say, look at the pods and be like, oh, let's just wait till someone gets it and sells it to us.
Depends. Depends. It's very complex.
Can I give you one example? Did you know that in Vietnam, you know that we're importing rice from Vietnam? You're aware
I've
of that?
heard, yep.
No, we are. Who taught the Vietnamese to plant rice? Do you know who? Us, Filipinos.
Interesting.
You know what's so interesting about it? We taught them how to plant rice and to produce rice and manufacture rice so that we could buy from them.
And if they hate us, for example, just hypothetical situation, where's our rice?
Exactly. Imagine, we're importing rice.
Right. So
You go to the grocery store, parang, NFA, imported rice. And
Yeah,
we
that
gave the
sucks.
knowledge. We gave that knowledge.
that sucks. Yeah. I do believe the Philippines has to start like grassroots building things and then creating things, because the dependency will never end. Especially when the resources are, if the resources are there, right? We basically have an opportunity for different industries to be vertically integrated by domestic manufacturing, domestic jobs, domestic technology. But it sucks because we can't get there unless we have state backing us up and then bootstrapping those R&Ds so that we can start moving. It's rough
I need to ask you,
to catch 22.
It's not a personal question, but it's more of a professional question. What are your thoughts about AI generally? And why don't you want to use Claude in 2026?
Good question. Right. So for context, for everyone who's listening, I did a post
Continue.
that mentioned day end of not using Claude as a software engineer.
I love that.
Right, and then it got a lot of reaction. I've got some DMs around it. It's funny, right? It's funny why I'm not using Claude. But the summary is, specifically as a staff blockchain engineer, staff protocol engineer, the fundamentals of that is in a finance protocol, such as blockchain. Your data is not just data. It's directly the money itself. right? Whatever's on the balance sheet on that data in the blockchain directly represents your money, the value of your asset. Now, that informs us of one thing: data integrity and the criticality of our work is way higher because data isn't just information, it's now directly your money. And why is this why haven't I been able to use Claude? Because the standards are so rigorous that you can't not know what's happening. You can't rely on someone to think for you because you need to, as much as possible, get to know how the protocol works as deep as you can because that ensures the safety of your data. So that's number one, right? That's the first thing. So not a lot of people using blockchain. Some people who do more on just using front ends and the dashboards, but not necessarily protocol. So I haven't had a need for it. That's why I haven't been using it. Number two, every time that I tried using AI to bootstrap a project, like do a big project, it took me way longer.
No way.
Yeah. And the reason is, I'm the type of person who asks questions around decisions. Hindi yung parang, if you give me a solution, I'm not gonna just sit down and take it without asking the whys. Right? When he gives me a solution, I'm gonna be like, bakit? Why is this your decision making? And oftentimes, in those why questions, nag-hallucinate. Right? So what happens is that instead of me just going to the code, searching, and then solving that problem, I would have to go to the code, try to solve the problem with AI, and then start having more questions around the code of the AI. So obviously, it takes more bandwidth, it takes more time because you gotta ask those why questions. If you don't ask those why questions, then you can't reason around your code. And if you can't reason around your code, you can't reason around your money. And if you can't reason around your money, you can't protect and ensure that it's working well and that your money and your assets are safe.
Wow.
Yep. That's number two. Do I not use AI? I use AI a lot. More for information or intellectual compounding because it's what works best, at least in my current context. So I'm not fully against AI. I'm more than happy to support people use Claude, use Codex. I'm happy for them. It's just that it doesn't work for the context that I am in, and that's why I posted that because it's a funny, it's something funny that people will probably hate me for saying that, but it's true in my context. I haven't been using it at all. I have been using AI to search, like for example, okay, give me the topics or the documentation for this, then I'm gonna read through that. And that helps me compound faster. But anything beyond that, like bootstrapping a blockchain project, I haven't been using it.
It's such an eye opener because using blockchain for sensitive information like money,
Yeah.
right, financial records and all that, AI probably, if AI built it, there's a lot. I still believe that you think there's a lot of vulnerabilities when AI built it. But it's such an eye opener because you're right. You have to ask them why because in the real world, AI is really more like crowd control, right? In a concert, if you want crowd control security and you don't want any incidents, you hire bouncers.
Yeah.
But someone in that crowd, in that event, can be a little drunk and go out of hand control. Bouncers can handle them. But what if they were like the National Guard with guns and everything? That's my comparison. And you're like the security director. And you're like, why? Why do you need only 2 assets there to protect a group of 10? And because of the director of these bouncers are like, 1 bouncer to 10. 2 is double. But you're like, these bouncers don't even have guns. So that's how I see it, the way you describe it. And true enough, since the data's sensitive, it's vulnerable if AI does it. And I 100% agree with you on that, because I'm pissed off with some people, especially business owners, who keep posting about, oh, I built a website in 5 minutes that my developer took in 5 months. Okay, so what's your point? If you dig into how it was built with AI, it's very vulnerable. Number one, they could build it with AI. They can't deploy it. They still need someone to deploy it. Number two, long term of that website, yeah, it could be faster, but what about in terms of SEO?
Yep.
How will that work? You still need to find someone who, I mean, okay, AI can do it, but it doesn't mean they have that strategy to work it for their specific business.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of,
Like that.
I do understand what you're saying. And it's such an eye-opener because everyone's hyped into AI. They want AI to control every aspect of their work and life. But I love what you said. Use AI for everything else, but not this. Because you know exactly the importance of, or differentiate between what's important and what to use AI with, and what AI can do generally in the stuff that you want to use AI for. Maybe that comes also the same way where, should I let AI teach my son ABC? Or bring my son to school and teachers will teach him ABC? Who will grow up? Who will grow up,
Good.
right? Let's say you have a child. Para pumasok. Ito na lang. Better than teachers, better than no. I think there's going to be a problem with that child eventually. So I think that sets apart on what you're saying, because people right now they're too quick to judge,
Yep. Too hype.
too hype.
The way people are approaching it and are hyping it are incorrect. Because fundamentally, when we build systems, we solve a certain problem. And life is complex because the only constant thing in life is change. So problems will change, needs will change, requirements will change. One of the biggest problems of trying to bootstrap an entire project in AI is that AI doesn't design for that. You can prompt it, but then when they output that code, it doesn't design for your understanding of the humans. It doesn't design for your understanding of the humans outside who's going to use that. It doesn't design for the humans who are going to read your code, who are going to interact with your code, develop and evolve it. So, dun pa lang, there are problems there because if it's not designed for evolution to continuously solve problems that are constantly changing, then obviously there will be friction there. And what does friction does? What you've introduced friction in a pipeline that's supposedly have been figured out already. So parang you're slower, it's more expensive, tapos there's compute pa, di ba? And then you degrade your brain. So there's a lot of negatives that are happening. I do believe there are things that it could be very helpful for, like search, but right now it's so hype that people are missing the point. And the funny thing is, AI is predictable. You don't have to be an AI leader or you don't have to be an AI thought leader because it's predictable. Why do I say it's predictable? AI will scale as compute scales. You can't be a first mover because you don't control the compute You don't have the resources for it. That's not your company. You don't control the hardware. So you can't be a first mover, right? That means the best thing you can do right now is just to wait. Don't try to hype AI or be a thought leader or position yourself as an AI expert. Rather, let the compute scale, and then in the end, while that happens, in the end, just use the best one. Diba? At the same time, well, because it's so predictable, and we know it's going to scale with hardware and compute, diba? You don't have to go deep into it. Just let it happen, let it evolve. Instead, what you're going to do is improve your skill, and then when the best AI comes, use that to augment your skill. However, if you focus on AI, what are you going to augment? AI will improve, sure, but what are you going to augment? So fundamentally, AI is a multiplier. There has to be something that you amplify. So if you keep hyping AI, saying your AI this, AI that, what are you amplifying? There has to be a core value you're amplifying. So what I believe people should be doing now, if you're a normal person, you don't own the computer, you don't own the hardware, the best thing you can do is use the subsidized AI to intellectually compound so you get smarter, so that your skills get better. And by the time that AI naturally evolves to its best form, use that to amplify what you already have. Right? Because if if time is so scarce, then it's not your job to try and figure out something that's already predictable. Alam mo na kung saan papunta eh. It's gonna scale, it's just gonna get better. That's not your role. Your role is to uncover the things that are worth your time. That's not worth your time because you don't have, alam mo na eh, saan siya papunta eh. Instead, uncover your expertise, uncover the problems you can solve as a human being, and then when it's already, when it's right, I'll learn that shit in a day because it's not hard to learn. People keep saying, "Oh, it's hard to learn." No, it's not. I'll learn that shit in a day and compound my work. And while people are so hyped on AI for that decade, I've already been compounding 10 years worth of my expertise. And then by that time, I'll take that AI, compound that 10-year expertise, and I'm more valuable and more multiplied by that. Make sense? So it's to me, it's like, why are people doing this? You're atrophying your brain. By the time that AI is ripe, you're not gonna compound anything because you don't have anything in your brain. You're not valuable as a person. You haven't learned anything in the 10 years. What then?
So it's an eye opener what you're saying, and it, to my surprise, because people are so afraid that AI is going to take over. They lose their jobs, they lose their careers, and everything. But what you're saying is that it's not going to happen if they just reinvest their time building themselves instead of being dependent on AI. It's such an eye opener coming from you, someone who is into technology, someone who's into not only any technology, but modern technology, future technology, blockchain. It's amazing what I'm hearing. You know that it's hype, and you know what needs to happen for every individual. So every individual who thinks that AI is going to take over the world, they have to take the next steps to build their careers and expertise in their own way. I know it's fast paced right now. People would say, what happens in the next 5 years? What happens in the next 10 years? Let me ask you, what do you think will happen in the next 3 years?
It's complex because there are different factors that come in when it comes to different technologies. For example, the way I think about it is in 3 tiers. Number one, I think about the domain. So like our domain right now is AI, artificial intelligence. And I think about the economics, which is basically how does this domain interact with the real world? Diba? Sino yung maapektuhan? How does it flow? And the third one is the physics. Right? It tells you, okay, what are the true constraints of this technology? Because it's not magic, right? You need energy, you need resources, you need refined resources. So, and those things they don't move fast, right? Physical goods don't move as fast as software because it takes a lot of time. There are codes, there are timeline codes. I'm gonna coach you. This is how long it'll take, right? In the next 3 years, I believe we're gonna go back to the way we did things before, where humans are valuable again, and people start realizing what AI is really for, and look beyond the veil and realize that it's helpful for sure. But if you're a normal human being, if you look at it, if you don't own the data, you don't own the compute, anytime you can lose your brain. And the best thing you can do right now is expand your brain because you don't own the brain. Expand your brain so that in 3 years you're ready, whatever happens. So, in that logic, I do believe we're gonna start realizing that people are still the best.
I love that.
Even do you know how hard hands are in engineering? I've heard, I found this recently, actually yesterday lang, na parang sabi ko, I was listening to an interview with Elon Musk, and then he was talking about yung mga robots niya. Apparently, the hand is hard to crack in robotics, right? If not just the brain, but the mechanics of a human being is a struggle. It means technology that could fully replicate the value of a human is really going to take a lot of time. So in the next 3 years, it's not going to be as high. People won't say that we're not going to have humanoid robots yet. I believe that's going to take time, and people are going to be still valuable, especially technology, right? A lot of people are saying don't do tech because it's knowledge work. It's going to be deprecated. But again, it's not going to be deprecated because who's going to produce the knowledge that these models have to train on? The quality information that these models have to train on. What's funny is, like in mga past months, I've been seeing a lot of people, leads, who go to me mainly for fixing their AI generated code. So from a first person perspective, of course you're gonna. I believe in technology. I'm optimistic about technology, but I'm starting to see that it's not as crazy as people make it out to be. I think if you track the incentives, like the macro incentives, it makes sense why certain groups of people are pushing AI so hard. It makes sense. But if as a normal and average human who thinks critically about his situation, it doesn't make sense for most. Aside from just use the subsidized AI to intellectually compound as hard as you can, so that by the time that it gets too expensive or you lose access to it, you're ready.
Such a great advice. We all know that a lot of businesses are really now dependent on AI. Mm-hmm. Well, businesses evolved. Mm-hmm. I know mine evolved. Mm-hmm. But it's not every part, because I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs, they're like, oh, we're fully optimized, 90% process, all AI, automations and all that. They only spend 10% for, they fired like 80% of their people and everything. Not knowing that when it breaks down, they're back to basics. For the average person, people think these days, especially here in Pinas, You know those AI apps coming where you can download, all, edit your picture, create a video, and all that. People think that's what AI is. Typically, the average person, someone working in the grocery, oh, I could clone my face and have it talk just like me, not knowing that there's a privacy issue there, right? And we look at that at scale with the masses, because my elders use it, and they're so like, wow, I could create a movie, put my face on that. I'm an action star. I'm just thinking about this in scale when there's like hundreds and millions of people using that, several AI apps for that. Isn't it vulnerable in terms of their identity, their information? I mean, they don't read the fine print. They never do, and they never do generally, unless it's really important to us. But what do you think the implications are 2, 3, 5 years from now, when all these software companies have they have all the identities of these types of people? I think that's the one thing, like to me, because once they have their information, they start pushing ads to you. And to the masses, you know how the masses are, right? They see a very interesting ad, whether knowing it to be legit or not, but they never knew that they were targeted. And because of them giving their data, they could rig elections, they could rig decision making, they could rig a lot of things. So what do you think the implications are, apart from the things that I said? If this keeps going on for the next 5 years?
That's deep. First of all, that's deep.
I wouldn't just say deep. It's a conspiracy question.
There are a lot of ways I can take it, but the general mental model that I have patterns artificial intelligence to humanity. Right? You make money on investing because you have what I call an information asymmetry. Because you know more about different people than other people, you earn more. We can see this in jobs. Because fundamentally, if time is scarce, you would rather hire someone who knows more about a certain domain than you, because it's just, you want to save your time. Right? So you hire people for the asymmetry in information that they have. Same as in investing. You win in investing or trading because you have an asymmetry of information, because you know more. Now let's pattern that into data and artificial intelligence, which is very obvious, right? If we're talking intelligence and we're patterning intelligence to human thinking, then it makes sense to say that information asymmetry is to humans, then data asymmetry is to artificial intelligence. Which means whoever has the data, as much data as they can, will have as much asymmetry as they like. And use that to win. Right? Because if you know more, information asymmetry, if you know more, you win in problem solving, because information, brain, artificial intelligence, information, data. So what can we say? What can we predict from that? A lot of things. A lot of things. And it explains a lot of why it matters that people use this or yield their data. Makes sense. At least to me, with that mental model, it makes sense.
Conspiracy theorists back in the day said, let's talk crazy now. They said the government helped Mark Zuckerberg create Facebook so they could track people better. The main goal now, since 9/11, is to prevent terrorism terrorism in the US, future terrorism, whether outside the US or inland. So they said, the government helped build Facebook so that they could track people around the world much more easily. Conspiracy theories. Lang. And then came facial recognition, then privacy, all this, and everything that they bring out in Congress, questioning Mark Zuckerberg or TikTok or whoever CEO or whatever, it's just for show. And now, sabi daw nila, right? Here's the crazy part.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly now. Allegedly, the government they subsidize and they help build AI models such as with OpenAI in the 10 years ago, decades ago. And the technology was already out there decades ago before it even came out. But it was only used by intelligence agencies like the CIA, allegedly. And then that since everyone was catching up, other startups was catching with AI itself, they just made it public lang. And they supported like OpenAI, just to get the ball rolling, just so that it's not suspicious enough that they hid it from the public. Just like what happened with cancer, or specifically a cure now, or a preventive cure, with this pharmaceutical product, ivermectin, right?
Yep, I've heard.
They found this out year 2015 now. That has large effects on cancer. And 2015, they made it public. But as early as the 2000s now, 2003 or 2005, they found out that this specific drug worked on cancer better than chemotherapy. It has a high percentage rate of not cure but prevention. And also during the ones with stage 4 cancer, it worked better than chemotherapy without all the side effects. And they hid that from the public and made it available only in 2015. That's why when the pandemic hit, a lot of people were taking ivermectin. Diba? And it worked kasi deworming siya. Deworming. And because 50% now of cancers these days are because of worms, of parasites, specifically. Diba? There are worms in our bodies that feed on stuff. That's what causes the cancer. Because we have worms in our bodies, cancer is like a defense mechanism in our body. That's why laging may mass yung cancer. For example, may mass ka daw ng ganito kalaki. It's because it's trying to cover up the disease or anything into a mass. And they cover it into a ball or whatever shape it is. And mainly those are worms. And ivermectin is a deworming. They use it for dogs back in the day. Dogs, cats, and everything.
Yung PR nila like, it was used for horses daw,
Yeah, and that's why they get better and better. And they made ones for humans. So during the pandemic when it hit, people used to take it. Without the proof of the World Health Organization, all that, because syempre, they want full control. Another conspiracy theorist. But all I'm saying is that they're saying that AI, right now, since it's out in the open, it's been being used for the last 2 decades now, but commercially, last decade lang, with OpenAI, right? And because they weren't efficient enough to watch out in Facebook now, they couldn't tell when is terrorism gonna attack next. So they invented AI so they could be more efficient enough to find out if there's terrorism that's gonna happen in the future. Conspiracy theories lang. Allegedly lang daw. Diba? But what if it were rumors? But what if these rumors were true? What would you give me a few tips or give me a few warnings to the public, to our friends, our families, and everything? Let's warn them. Let's warn them on what's coming, right? Especially when giving away their data, right? Especially when depending so much on their day-to-day using Oh, let's go to a field trip. Let's use AI. Find our route, fastest route. Let's use Waze, Google Maps, and everything, which is now powered with AI, and define where we're going every single day, every single trip. We're going to that field trip. Kabisado mo na, you don't need AI to do it for you. Give us a couple of warnings, tips on how to not be dependent on AI and not give away our information so that they could take control of our lives.
It's a good question because I do believe that question matters, right? The data part matters. This isn't specific to AI, but number one, fundamentally, like this should be throughout your life. Only give what is necessary. It's number one. Only give what's necessary. You don't have to give more information that's not necessary. Okay, that means number two, you question if the data you're gonna give is necessary. And number three, as much as possible, own your data. If you have local compute, like may PC ka dyan, or may rack ka sa bahay mo, it's better to use that than to use something that's on someone else's land or that is controlled by someone else, especially with sensitive information. For example, although it's gonna make my life very convenient, but I don't do my finances with AI. I don't send it on a chatbot and then I don't, because what I'm doing is I'm building my own in-house with my own racks. I have GPUs incoming because I want to protect my data and own my data. They don't have to know that. They don't have to know my finances.
So for the average person,
For the average person, it's just one and two, which is don't give information or data that is not needed. And then number two, just question if it's really required yung data na to. Kasi if di nila kaya magkaroon ng compute in-house, then just be very careful with your information.
do you think the future of AI in terms of compute, do you think it's going to be in-house or a lot of times? Because right now we have like OpenClaw, and right now we have like Claude, Claude Co-work or something where you install it on your PC, it does stuff for you. Is that, I mean, I've been hearing a lot of stuff about personal computing. Where are we going with this?
It's a complex question because there's a need and there's a want, right? What do we want? What does the world want the world look like with artificial intelligence in the future, and what the need should be? So, one, let's start with one. If we go back to our information asymmetry and data asymmetry model and pattern that thinking there, what do you think would a lot of the people in the world want to happen with AI? Of course, you want to have more of that asymmetry. It's obvious. You're incentivized to have more of that asymmetry because it helps you win. Obvious. Need local compute. Why? Because you have the sovereignty of your intelligence. The same way you have your brain, you want to have your own intelligence with you. Right? Because you want to be protected from what could possibly be done on that data without your consent. So obviously, it's a need for local compute to happen because it's just much safer. But that's hella complex too. Why? Because I'm doing it right now. I'm doing a local compute cluster at home, and that's complex because the hardware you're going to use comes from where? Other, and what can be done with those hardware? Whatever the fuck they want. For example, someone wants to get information on the processing with a hardware that they created or they're using. They can do that. They manufacture the hardware. So, in that thinking, because of how things are now, it's going to be more on cloud, centralized. But I do believe that we need to pursue local compute. It's just important for us to have sovereignty over our data and our intelligence, digital or artificial intelligence, quote unquote.
Is it too late for the average person or the masses to shift?
Nah, I don't think so. I think it's not too late for the average person to shift for sure.
But they don't have the expertise for in-house computing. They
That's
don't know
what
what
I've
to
been
do.
doing, actually. So it's not yet ready, but I've been moving towards helping people get local compute. That's why I have these thoughts because I've tried it myself. I'm going through the motions myself. It's definitely not easy. It's costly.
So in layman's terms, are you building your own internal compute, your AI, your own
Yes, I have a
personalized
rack. I have a
AI?
22U rack at home. I have GPUs coming. I'm building my own AI. If I want to do my banking, I want to do it on my own compute, not connected to the network, but connected to my local network lang, sa bahay lang.
Wow.
Because I think that's very important, right? Own your intelligence. You have your own brain. Then own your artificial intelligence.
And does your intelligence, let's call it PI, putang ina. Let's call it personal intelligence,
Yeah.
right? Will your personal intelligence scrape the internet for stuff and just process it
Good question.
for you alone?
Good question. I'm more of a learn my needs and cater to that, right? Because again, this goes back to the information asymmetry model. Yung models kasi ngayon, they're trained on the average intelligence of the human species. What we put out there. That means, for the most part, it's general intelligence. It doesn't really fit to you specifically. You needs more, what you want to do. I'm my own human. I have different needs. I have specific ways that things should be done. I'm more for training this fresh model to cater to my specific needs. I believe that's more effective then. And that scales better.
Sorry to cut you off there, but I'm excited to ask you this. How do we get this to market?
How do you get this to market?
Yeah, because,
I've been thinking about that too.
okay, but hold on. What are the basis of this intelligence? Is it, okay, it's already intelligent. But how was this? Did you build this from the ground up? Or is it based on a model? Or based
Based on a model, and then my plan is to teach it. So reinforcement learning. I had to go through these motions muna because the GPUs are still coming, but that's my plan. So we'll figure things out as we go along.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so expensive. Ang laki pa ng 22U rack. Like, what the fuck? I think ganito siya kalaki. And it's at home.
What are you gonna call your personal intelligence?
I don't just AI.
PI,
yung-
PI na lang.
Inspiration ko nun was sabi ko, you know what, nakakatamad na i-compile yung mga bank statements and then plan around your finances. Sure, you can track, but I don't want that. I want AI just to give me compute it for me, di ba? But I'm unwilling to yield those personal information to a public model. So that led me to buying my own rack so I can do that at home. Kampante ako na, okay, I've secured my own network, I've secured my own compute. I know that relatively I should be safe unless, okay, there's a hardware part there that extracts my information. But other than that, I'm relatively confident now. Okay, at least I'm safe to have my bank statements and then let it crunch.
You're building Jarvis.
Well, the only question mark right now is how powerful can it get? Wow. With what I can get easily. Kasi syempre, I won't be able to buy yung state-of-the-art hardware for sure. So what I'm trying to do is just go to marketplace, find suppliers that are accessible to a normal person, and then try to build that from there. And then the questions, the answers I get from there, I'll be able to use to give other people more local compute. Okay, how much does it cost? Kamusta yung temperature? Kamusta yung management? What is needed? And now we have a business model. We have a business.
Yeah.
The second level of that is when you mentioned yung call centers, I was thinking about is how we go down. If ang vision ko is that smart people get amplified by AI, not them yielding their talents to AI, but rather getting amplified, then it makes sense for call centers, for a BPO-centered company to amplify the smarts of the Filipinos to do more. So it makes sense na okay, you have a BPO company, I come to your BPO company, we will host our own models there so you can offer better services. And then we can train these models on the processes that you do dun sa specific BPO company mo so you can do your job better and be amplified. I mean, that makes sense. Diba? Right? So, I'm going, we can take a failing BPO, let's just go to their door, talk to them, and then you got compute? Yeah, we got this infrastructure. You might want to take a look at this and how it's going to affect you.
Shit.
So imagine if we're a BPO company, a BPO country, it makes sense. Why not? Let's amplify that BPO-centric country and then give compute, give artificial intelligence.
And the infrastructure is already there.
Bruh, then multiply lang natin. Di ba that, if I was someone who had the power, di ba? Parang, oh, that makes sense. Let's just amplify what we already have. BPOs, give them AI. So those are the types of thoughts I've been having. But yeah, I have to go through the motions because the GPOs are still coming. And then from there, makita kung kamusta ba, stable ba? Kasi there are those questions. But I do believe it's going to be stable because apparently yung mga servers, they're built for what we call high availability. Yung high availability means may redundancy. Para kahit masira yung isa, you can just replace while the other one is running. They're built for that. So they have 2 batteries na pwede mong pag nasira yung isa, palitan mo lang ng isa. Pero meron pang isa doon na tumatakbo. Diba? So,
very modular.
yeah, those are the things that you only learn as you try things. So, why not? Let's build a cluster at home and then figure shit out on our own. And from there, from you physically really doing the things, you can be more pragmatic and honest and realistic with your predictions on AI. So that's why I have a lot of this more realistic view on AI because I've been going through the motions myself. Do you imagine, bro? Like, BPO, AI-enabled BPO? Who, sabi nila, knowledge work is gonna be, obsolete. Are you sure? Or are we just gonna use AI to multiply our knowledge work? Are you sure people will stop evolving? Are you sure? Are you sure we're gonna, parang, they wanna, parang it's so depressing, people wanna believe that mawala na yung skills, yung mga knowledge mo. Is that really what's gonna happen? We're gonna sit down and just is that really? Yeah. So I'm very happy to see that that's possible. Local compute and then augment all the knowledge workers in the Philippines, especially since we're service-based. Right?
What a great grabe.
Bro, imagine if failing BPO company, bro. Let's do a deal, okay? Since failing na kayo, welcome in. Do this for you. We share the profit. I think we can do that. That could be sellable. Yeah, that could be a deal flow. Yeah, it's been amazing. Kaya lang malaki siya as in. So it takes space, for sure.
Well, it'll grow down. No? It will grow smaller, pero
In the future.
all I know is that with technology, capacity gets bigger and bigger while hardware gets smaller and smaller.
Yes.
And even that, 10 MB was a whole closet cabinet. Right now, 10 gig. Diba?
Ang caveat lang doon is that if I remember, I was talking to my semicon expert friend, is that we're at a point where semiconductor features are so small now that we can basically go smaller.
Are they like almost atom size?
Yeah, the atomic. So That's another interesting fact because that tells us something about how the future is going. If hindi mo na kayang paliitin, physically, physics-wise, hindi mo na siya kayang paliitin, then the next step is yung to optimize. What do I mean by optimize? There's this thing called ASICs, Application-Specific Integrated Circuits. So di mo na siya kayang gawing mas effective by making it smaller, then you need to make it more effective by removing some resources and then focusing on one specific use case. Kasi hindi mo na kayang i-increase yung resources. You can only increase the resources now for your use case by removing the unnecessary ones.
I do understand that logic. Because not every function is being used as much as others.
Diba?
Same thing happened from what I remembered, when Apple shifted from Intel to their own chipset, which is the M series.
The M series.
So they made it more efficient and they rebuilt it from ground up, just to focus on the things and they took away the small things that Intel didn't.
Yeah. The same will happen for hardware. So that means we should start getting into the compute and hardware as much as possible.